Nama saya Nek Ainul. My name is Rabihu Anthony.
Arifin bin Waka.
Nama Pada bin Iman.
Chongkin bin Sebi.
Nama saya Kri bin Hek.
My name is Zani Anthony.
Zaitun bin Perel.
Nama saya Delianada.
Kauli Daka. Pandang-pandangan saya.
Mama saya misi sekolah, belum tahu apa-apa. Ya saya dengar sekarang yang dia bilang nih. Dia bilang kalau emangnya jadi orang, kan betul-betul dah.
Iya.
Betul-betul nih. Lampu ada.
This is a fascinating history, probably one of the most unique societies in the world, and this is their story. The islands are situated 2,800 kilometres west of the mainland and have been part of Australia since 1955, but have a history dating back to 1826 when the islands were first inhabited. Through a strange turn of events, two British sailors were searching for a patch of land in the vast Indian Ocean. They wanted to develop and make their fortune. One, named Alexander Hare, landed in Cocos-Keeling Islands and brought his contingent of 130 slaves, which included a harem of 30 women. The other, John Clunies Ross, who had worked for Hare, now a free agent, also believed that the Cocos-Keeling Islands were ideal for his intended purpose.
They want to know about that, the history, how we became to, what we are now, where we are today, like a Muslim, Muslim people living in Australia on an island, how do we get here?
The islanders were from descendants of Batavia, which is the island of Java. It was picked by those two families, could be as a slave, to be brought onto this remote island called Cocos-Keeling.
So that's where the generations, some generation were collected from the different places, from China, from Eropa, from Banten, from Indonesia, and from different places, basically brought it to Cocos Island to establish the island for Alexander Hare.
After Hare suddenly died, the islands came under the sway of the Clunies Ross clan. John Clunies Ross was born in Shetland, Scotland in 1786 and died on Home Island in 1854. He was married to Elizabeth. In 1837, he signed a social contract with the Orang Pulu, whereby he promised to feed, clothe and house the people in return for their work and loyalty.
It was, no doubt, between the king and his subject. He looks after it. He cared for it, for them, for whatever reason. As a king, he feed them.
The tiny atoll acted as its own independent nation. It held no loyalty to any sovereign state. Whichever son was ruling the islands, he was referred to as Tuan, meaning lord. And the Tuan was in effect the Raja, or king of the Cocos Islands.
Tunggu dia raja.
He minted his own coinage made of pressed sheepskin and then later was made from plastic. Although Tuan provided the rice, flour and sugar, the Cocos Malay were quite self-sufficient and life on the islands was idyllic. It was a perfect private paradise. They had their own sailing boats known as jukungs, and they hunted turtles and booby birds, caught fish, crabs, octopus, and of course, they had their coconuts.
Dia bilang kerjaan kita tuh, Pulau Cocos punya kerjaan, Pulau Kelapa punya kerjaan. Daripada kita misi anak-anak mau dewasa dah tuh, kita emangnya menyelumbat
potong kayu, mancing, rupa-rupa cari udang kah, cari rajungan, macam-macam dia cari buntal gitu, belayar tapi belayar jukung kecil.
Dulu-dulu kita bawa kita pergi di hutan, bantu bapak kita potong kayu, mancing, belayar.
Belayanannya sekarang sudah senang, ada kereta, ada bekel, ada cekoci pergi di hutan ya. Dulu kita belayar bawa jukung.
Ang penyu bilang sama dia, Tok, emang saya suka cari penyu ni, saya ni memang ya. Pasal penyu, bapak saya dulu naik bet ini, tumbak penyu.
Ditumbak, dulu ditumbak. Mungkin macam sekarang ditumbakkan ya. Kadang-kadang kalau jukung, kalau kita mau makan penyu, kalau yang gimana saya bilang ya, hari Persatuan tuh, New Year, kita baru dapat makan penyu. Bawa goreng minyak, pakai minyak goreng.
Enak, pada tak ada lagi makanan, jadi kita bilang penyu enak, burung enak. Jadi saya tak bilang burung tak enak, ini pasal tak dapat burung.
Emangnya gampang man, burung dulu. Pak kuasa man. Tapi dia janji kalau kita kemalaman, dikasih op 1 minggu kita tak boleh keluar pergi ambil burung lagi. Yang tak kupas ininya.
But there was a catch for living here. Almost everyone over the age of 14 had to work for the Tuan. They were paid the plastic money, which was worthless outside of home island.
Cik kelapa emangnya berat. Bangunnya sejak dah jam 4. Sampai di hutan agak-agak jam 6 atau jam 6.30 lah gitu. Tapi kalau emang angin okey, nang kena maju kong, emangnya bagus. Tapi kalau seperti angin begini nih, emangnya jelek kan ya? Ada bahayanya.
Kita turun dari jukung, kita isam karung, nang berkulit, tak naik, tak sedek, tak sengget ada. Tumpuk dalam 100 ke, atau 80 ke, atau 70, tak selumbat. Selumbat apa, pikul, buat di jukung, balik, cari lagi, tumpuk.
Teruk Bang Malia. Sebab apa, kalau hujan-hujan kita belayar manjukung, tak ada jaket, basah, selimut karung.
Emang tak mau, kau boleh tak mau untuk kerjaan lagi. Tak mau nek, kau boleh. Kalau Pak Azimu tahu lah, tak mau lagi. Sakit pinggang, dingin.
Tahu ada yang ini ya, jobos di lubang kepiting tu ya. Ada yang kena selumbat. Ada yang terbalik di belayar jukung.
Saya susah kerjanya, saya rasa, tapi tak berapa susah. Kita belah kelapa, masukkan di dalam injin. Besok pagi, keluarkan dari injin, kita kupas. Kupasnya pasal tu kelapa sudah kering, di injin dah kerjakan, keringkan, kita belah, jemur di matahari ya. Tak dikupas-kupas lagi dah. Ketuk saat dia dah pecah dah.
In 1887, Tuan commenced building an extravagant mansion on Home Island, naming it Oceania House. It was built of imported white glazed bricks and completed in 1893.
Tak ada kali. Tadi tu kalau Noya saat itu tu, dulu-dulu lah, bukannya dulu. Dia panggil orang makan semua. Siang gini ni. Tadi tu sambung lagi ya. Dia panggil 1 pulau orang makan tu, orang family. Makan rumahnya sana. Malam baru dangsa.
Gencar pergi. Tapi kita pergi tu, orang bilang ambal-ambalan, kalau New Year. Ya, New Year. Emang New Year emangnya parti besar emangnya. Banyak nenek-nenek kita kalau pulang.
By the turn of the century, the Cocos Malay lived happily, oblivious to the political mechanics of Europe, and in 1914 the first maritime victory of World War I occurred on Cocos waters. The German raider Emden attacked the Cocos Islands, attempting to destroy the cable station on Direction Island. HMAS Sydney was called in to engage the Emden, and after a long and fierce battle, the Emden was destroyed. In 1939, World War broke out again and the Japanese attacked Home Island. They narrowly missed bombing Oceania House and destroyed 27 homes and killed 3 Cocos Malay.
Nama mak saya Minti Serdaya. Mak saya bawa anak-anaknya ada 5 orang. Yang paling kecil saya. Tapi saya tak tahu yang waktu itu saya masih kecil. Jadi sudah itu dia cari mana anak saya satu lagi, tak ada. Waktu itu dia tak tahu itu bom meletup antam dia punya.
After the war, a young John Cecil Clunies Ross became the new King of Cocos, and he was referred to as Tuan John.
Tuan John tinggi ke lampu gini nih orangnya.
Dia betul-betulnya dia bagus ya. Dia yang ada dia punya Jim Jackson. Dia yang rusakkan kita, dia jahat tu.
Dia suka mau orang puluh. Mak kita anak-anak dia lebih suka.
Tuan John bapak ingat sama dia ni. Rupa-rupanya, besarnya, tingginya. Tinggi Tuan John tu.
In 1954, the islands were visited by Queen Elizabeth II and the Duke of Edinburgh. They toured the island and visited Oceania House. It was a memorable occasion.
Queen datang, saya habis kahwin. Dalam 1 minggu saya habis kahwin. Queen datang. Jadi Queen turun dari jembatan tuh. Dari jembatan dia pergi rumah Tuan John. Kita berdiri di jalan dikasih bendera.
Ya selang pasal apa kita anak-anak sih ya. Kita girang lihatnya. Ya, kita suka lihatnya. Ya pasal apa orang dong bilang Queen sih ya. Queen Elizabeth dong bilang. Hampir kita iring sampai di rumah besar sana. Makan minum sana, melenggok sana, selong sana. Datang melenggok, selong, makan, balik.
In 1955, the islands were transferred from the United Kingdom to the Commonwealth of Australia. The population of the islands was now over 1,000, and food shortages were common.
Tak ada sebab apa orang yang layar di pulau ni emang tak keluar, tinggal di pulau saat ni. Jadi kita tak tahu dengan ada negeri-negeri lain gitu. Tuan larang kita keluar. Tak boleh umang, tak tahu lah di Australia gitu. Yang ada Australia, yang ada di Singapura.
Orang yang tua-tua juga, tempo saya mendengar lah, ada orang bilang nyonya gede tuh, Tuan John punya, Tuan Ros punya emak kali tak, Tuan John punya emak. Ya, dia tak mampu kasih makan.
Nang betul nang terjadi satu nang tempo dong orang tak ada lombok sekali.
Jadi dia tu lah pergi di mana-mana. Saya ingat nenek saya ingat. Nek Oji, Nek Tiko, ya dong Mak Wering semuanya. Banyak saya ingat-ingat di rumah-rumah nang dulu-dulu.
By the 1970s, Australia had now asserted its influence over the islands, and in 1974, concerned about the feudal system of government on the islands, the UN visited Cocos.
Ya ingatan saya tu bagus dong datang di pulau. Pasal apa? Saya ingatan saya lah kali, dorang mau baguskan kita. Ya dorang mau kasih kita macam mau bilang gaji lain kali gitu. Dorang mau tukar gaji kali lain, kita tak tahu. Ya.
Tak ada, emang dia tak adil. Hampir dia bankrupt, dia tak adil emang. Boleh bang duitnya sendiri. Dia dah kira duitnya sendiri dah. Jadi tu sebab itu orang tu nang kerja tak dapat apa-apa sama sekali.
Kita nang bilangan nang spot tu. Kita nang cabut ni kehidupan kita daripada Klonisos. Kita minta bantu kerajaan Australia, biar kerajaan Australia bantukan kita 10. Nang Klonisos sudah bilangan kasih pulang ni puluh kita 10.
Bekal di sana tu untuk disaksikan untuk di universitas sana kita disaksikan kokos dia seluruh Australia termasuk Cocos satu lagi.
Gitu. Kalau kita persatuan Australia ni, memang kita ada bantuan yang besar. Semuanya. Di situ. Tapi tak terus orang kita nang kita boleh jadikan tu ketangan begitu. Selama 4 tahun kita mengumumkan ni.
Jadi sebetulnya emang atuk girang. Emang atuk girang. Sebab semuanya hidup kita. Hidup sekolahan, kesehatan boleh jalan. Sekolahan ikut kebolehan. Siapa bisa dia naik, siapa tak bisa, dia memang tak bisa kan ya. Tapi dia jalan tak tu, dia tak berhenti-berhenti punya. Tak macam Tonjon. Tonjon asal tulis nama dia stop situ.
Eventually, the Australian government purchased the islands from the Clunies-Ross family for $6.25 million, which did not include Oceania House.
Perasaan saya emangnya gimana cerita-cerita dorang tu emangnya betul ada tu.
Dulu kita tak takut, sekarang saya takut dah. Dorang bilang ada setan, saya takut setan.
Then in 1984, the islanders were granted a referendum to choose if they would like to become an independent nation or join Australia. They chose the latter.
Moving from house to house, door to door, holding with these documents with myself, and talk to the people face to face, and make sure they really understand fully about the two options. The integration with Australia, the pre-associations, and also independence.
The Act of Self-Determination Day is commemorated on the 6th of April every year by inviting locals to celebrate by putting on a feast, dugong races, and they dance a special Scottish reel.
So they came to the big house and cooked. Everyone cooked. And then at night, they had a big party. They are all people wearing their costume, Malay costume, dancing and Scottish dancing, Malay dancing.
Dulu saya misi bujang, saya suka pergi dansa rumah besar. Pergi pagi pulang, pergi sore pulang pagi.
The community are proud of their religious identity, and besides attending to their daily prayers, they fast during Ramadan, celebrate the Eid and the Mawlid of the Prophet's birthday, and continue their traditions by remembering family members who have passed away by regularly visiting the cemetery on Pulu Gangsa.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
This is a small community with very few seniors left who recall the golden days of the islands. These people are the real kings of Cocos.